Green hydrogen is moving from promise to production, and nowhere is that transition more evident than in Normandy, France. Here, the Normand'Hy project, developed by Air Liquide and powered by Siemens Energy's electrolyzer technology, has taken a significant step forward. Siemens Energy has officially delivered the first proton exchange membrane, or PM stacks, to the project, marking a turning point not just for France, but for the entire European hydrogen economy. This isn't a headline about machinery arriving at a port. It's the visible beginning of large-scale renewable hydrogen becoming real, tangible, and industrially relevant. The Normand'Hy project is being built in the Port Jérôme industrial zone in Normandy, a region known for heavy industry, oil refining, and chemicals. Once complete, the facility will house 200 megawatts of PEM electrolyzer capacity. That means it will be capable of producing roughly 28,000 tons of renewable hydrogen per year, enough to replace a large portion of the fossil-based hydrogen currently consumed by nearby industries. In carbon terms, this project is expected to eliminate around 250,000 tons of carbon dioxide annually. These are not pilot-scale numbers. This is industrial decarbonization at work. The delivery of Siemens Energy's first PM stacks signals that the manufacturing and logistics pieces are finally coming together. The PEM units, built at Siemens Energy's gigafactory in Berlin, represent the first wave of a new generation of European-made electrolyzers designed for scale, performance, and flexibility. Each stack is capable of splitting water into hydrogen and oxygen using renewable electricity, most of it expected to come from wind and solar sources connected through long-term power purchase agreements. The modular design of these stacks means they can be installed in groups, creating a flexible, scalable system capable of adjusting output to match renewable power availability. To appreciate how significant this is, you have to understand why PEM technology was chosen. PEM electrolyzers are more responsive than older alkaline designs. They can ramp up and down quickly to follow the natural variability of wind or solar generation. This responsiveness makes them particularly suited for coupling directly to renewable energy assets, avoiding curtailment and capturing electricity that might otherwise be wasted. They also produce high-purity hydrogen at higher pressure, which simplifies downstream compression and storage. These factors make PEM technology ideal for projects like Normand'Hy, where the goal is to blend flexibility with industrial-scale output. Behind this technological choice lies a broader industrial strategy. Siemens Energy and Air Liquide jointly established a manufacturing partnership in Berlin to build these stacks at scale. The facility is ramping toward multi-gigawatt annual capacity, which means more projects can be supplied quickly and consistently. In earlier years, one of the biggest barriers to green hydrogen deployment was simply the lack of large-scale electrolyzer manufacturing. Projects were delayed because equipment had to be custom-built or shipped across continents. The Normand'Hy supply chain shows that this barrier is starting to fall. The Berlin factory allows European developers to source equipment domestically, cutting lead times and strengthening supply resilience. The partnership also highlights an important aspect of hydrogen's industrial evolution: collaboration across borders and companies. Air Liquide brings deep experience in industrial gas handling, storage, and distribution. Siemens Energy brings the engineering expertise in power systems and electrolysis. Together, they've aligned production, logistics, and on-site integration. This kind of partnership is a glimpse into the future of the hydrogen industry, no longer fragmented but coordinated, with clear roles from manufacturing to deployment. The location of the project, Port Jérôme, was not chosen by chance. Normandy has long been one of France's major energy and chemical production hubs. Several refineries, chemical plants, and logistics ports sit within close range. Many of them already use hydrogen in their operations, but until now that hydrogen has come almost entirely from natural gas, a process known as steam methane reforming, which releases significant CO2. By producing hydrogen from water using renewable power, Normand'Hy provides a cleaner alternative for these industrial users. The plant's hydrogen will feed directly into Air Liquide's existing hydrogen network, supplying local industries and potentially fueling heavy-duty transport in the region. The power for the plant is planned to come from a mix of renewable sources, including solar and wind energy, under long-term contracts. Securing reliable, low-carbon electricity is essential for keeping the hydrogen truly green and cost-competitive. In large projects like this, electricity typically makes up 60 to 70% of the total cost of hydrogen production. Locking in affordable renewable energy through power purchase agreements helps stabilize operating costs over decades. For developers, this is one of the first lessons from Normand'Hy. The economics of hydrogen depend more on power cost than on equipment price. Financing and public support have also played major roles in making this project happen. The French government, through national and European programs, has provided significant grants to accelerate green hydrogen investment. By being part of Europe's Important Projects of Common European Interest initiative, Normand'Hy secured funding that reduces its initial capital cost and helps de-risk early operations. These subsidies are not permanent, but they provide a bridge to scale, helping the technology mature, lower costs, and attract private capital in the future. For developers learning from this project, the takeaway is clear. Aligning with national and regional hydrogen strategies can open access to critical funding and partnerships. But money alone isn't what makes this project credible. It's the fact that Air Liquide already has end users lined up. One of the biggest challenges in hydrogen project development is ensuring offtake. Having buyers who will actually purchase the hydrogen once it's produced. Normand'Hy has addressed this early, with industrial offtakers such as nearby refineries committing to purchase green hydrogen under long-term agreements. This guarantees steady demand and bankability. For any developer looking to replicate this model, securing offtake before final investment decision is essential. Without it, even a technically sound project struggles to move forward. The Normand'Hy timeline provides valuable insight into realistic project development cycles. From the initial design and permitting phase to the delivery of the first electrolyzer modules, several years have passed. The plant is expected to reach full commissioning around 2026, meaning roughly 4 years from order to operation. That schedule includes manufacturing, delivery, civil works, installation, grid connection, and startup testing. Developers should note that even with strong coordination, projects of this scale take time. Factoring in lead times for equipment and permitting can make the difference between staying on schedule or slipping years behind. Another key point lies in how the project manages risk. Normand'Hy illustrates the need for a comprehensive risk strategy. Supply chain risk is managed by local manufacturing, electricity price risk by long-term PPAs, offtake risk by pre-signed contracts, and financing risk by grants. The result is a more bankable structure. This kind of integrated planning is exactly what emerging hydrogen developers must learn. Hydrogen is capital-intensive, multidisciplinary, and policy-driven. It rewards teams who can think across engineering, finance, and regulation all at once. Beyond economics, Normand'Hy is also a powerful symbol of energy transition. It demonstrates that legacy industrial zones can transform into clean energy hubs. By integrating renewable hydrogen production directly into existing industrial systems, projects like this allow for a smoother decarbonization pathway. Rather than tearing down old infrastructure, they retrofit and repurpose it, using pipelines, ports, and logistics networks that already exist. This is not just efficient, it's pragmatic and replicable. Many regions around the world have similar industrial bases that could follow the same model. From a technology perspective, the successful delivery of these first stacks confirms that gigawatt-scale PM manufacturing is no longer experimental. It's becoming routine. As production scales, costs are expected to fall, potentially cutting electrolyzer prices by 30 to 40% over the next few years. Combined with cheaper renewable electricity, that opens a path toward the long-term industry target of around $2 per kilogram of hydrogen. Every new delivery like this pushes the world closer to that goal. For professionals in hydrogen project development and financing, Normand'Hy serves as an open textbook. It's a case study in how to align technology, funding, regulation, and demand into a single coherent structure. It shows why early partnerships between manufacturers and developers are essential, how to de-risk delivery schedules, and how to integrate public funding without becoming dependent on it. Perhaps most importantly, it shows that successful projects start by solving the biggest bottlenecks first. Secure equipment supply, lock in cheap electricity, and guarantee offtake. Looking ahead, once the plant is operational, its hydrogen could support not just industrial users but also the region's emerging hydrogen mobility market. Heavy trucks, buses, and potentially ships could refuel using hydrogen from Normand'Hy. As refueling infrastructure expands, Normandy could become a reference region for hydrogen transport in Europe. This is how a single project begins to shape an entire regional ecosystem. The industrial users provide the base demand. The transport sector adds flexibility and growth. Together, they make the investment sustainable. For Siemens Energy, this project validates its manufacturing model, producing large PEM stacks in Europe for European projects. For Air Liquide, it strengthens its leadership in both hydrogen production and distribution. For France, it advances national energy independence and emissions targets. And for the broader hydrogen community, it's proof that the market is transitioning from planning to execution. If you're following the hydrogen sector, you'll notice that projects like this redefine what commercial means. A few years ago, a 10 MW electrolyzer was considered large. Now we're seeing 100 megawatts and 200 megawatt systems being built, with clear offtake and financing structures. The next stage will push toward multi-hundred megawatt clusters, feeding industrial networks and export terminals. The foundation laid by projects like Normandy makes those future expansions possible. Developers, consultants, and investors watching this project can draw several actionable insights. First, manufacturing scale and local supply chains matter more than ever. Second, flexible PEM technology is gaining traction for projects tied to renewable generation. Third, early policy support can make the difference between concept and execution. And fourth, strong offtake contracts transform a project from speculative to bankable. These are the same pillars you can apply in your own hydrogen development plans. For those building financial models, remember that each megawatt of electrolyzer capacity represents both opportunity and responsibility. The assumptions you input, capex, power cost, utilization rate, stack life, determine whether a project reaches profitability. Learning from real examples like Normand'Hy helps make those assumptions more realistic. It reminds us that technology, financing, and policy evolve together. Ultimately, the delivery of Siemens Energy's first PEM stacks to Air Liquide's Normand'Hy project marks more than just progress on a construction site. It's a sign that the green hydrogen industry is maturing. Hardware is being built. Factories are operating. Contracts are being signed. Hydrogen isn't a distant vision. It's being installed, connected, and commissioned right now. As the global race for hydrogen leadership accelerates, Europe's strategy to localize manufacturing, deploy large-scale plants, and secure industrial demand is beginning to pay off. Projects like Normand'Hy are the proof points investors and policymakers have been waiting for. They show that decarbonization doesn't have to mean deindustrialization. It can mean modernization. So, what does this mean for you as a developer, consultant, or investor? It means that the framework for building your own project already exists. You can model your costs, simulate your revenues, and structure your financing based on real-world examples. You can take lessons from what works in Normandy and adapt them to your market. Whether you're developing a 10 megawatts pilot or a 500 megawatts hub, the principles remain the same. Start with data, validate your assumptions, and align stakeholders early. At H2 Hub, ReneEnergy.com, you'll find practical tools and resources designed to help professionals in the green hydrogen space move from concept to implementation. The Hydrogen Project Starter Kit includes core templates such as feasibility checklists, financial model samples, permitting and stakeholder sheets, risk registers, and offtake memorandum examples. All created to help developers, consultants, and investors understand the real-world steps of hydrogen project development. It's based on the same structured approach used in ReneEnergy.com's Green Hydrogen Development and Financing course, giving you the frameworks to evaluate costs, plan timelines, and communicate effectively with partners, lenders, and off-takers. Whether you're preparing your first feasibility study or refining a large-scale project proposal, H2 Hub provides credible, actionable resources to guide your next step. The hydrogen revolution is already underway, and the companies that act early will define the next decade of clean energy. If Normand'Hy teaches us one thing, it's that waiting for certainty means falling behind. The industry is being built now, one electrolyzer stack at a time. So take that next step. Visit h2hub.reneenergy.com, explore the Hydrogen Project Starter Kit, and start shaping the future of green hydrogen today.